Okay, welcome back to the channel, folks. I am going to be making for my dinner tonight. I'm going to be making some zucchini and some yellow squash. And I'm going to be frying that up. I got a couple cloves of garlic that I'm going to dice up. And I've also got a can of diced tomatoes. And this is plain diced tomatoes. There's no herbs or garlic in there, because I'm going to add that myself. So this is something that I've just kind of invented myself. I'm sure lots of people have made this recipe, but it just sounds good to me in my experience with cooking. Professionally, this would probably make a nice Italian vegetable. So I put some butter in here, even though I don't do any butter anymore. I decided to go ahead and do some, because anytime you're cooking with olive oil or butter, you add some olive oil to it, and that'll keep the butter from turning brown. And so this recipe, in my opinion, should get some olive oil, about a tablespoon, I would guess. So we're gonna get some of that in there, and then we're gonna dice up our garlic and get it in there and start cooking that. And it's time to start dicing up our garlic. Hiya! There we go. That one didn't martinienne very well. Let's do that again. Yeah. That was a big piece of garlic clove, and even one flew clear off the cutting board. So we'll move that aside and we'll do the next one. Yeah. Alright, now we will need to dice it because it doesn't quite smash as well as it should have. Okay, our oil is getting hot over there. You can probably hear that. So let's drop our garlic in there. We want to cook that for a little bit. I am cooking in a Teflon pan, which I normally don't. I would be using the big cast iron over there. But since I'm putting tomatoes in it, I don't want to put anything acidy in my cast iron, because it will destroy the seasoning in the pan, and my pan is very well seasoned. Alright, so let's just start dicing these up pretty thick. I should have done the first kind of thicker. Alright, that is quite a lot right there. And then I want to do a yellow one as well. Alright, I took my pan off the burner for a few minutes, because the garlic was getting a little too done. So we're gonna go in here like this, and Alright. You know, I might just save these yellow. They're still in really good shape for another batch, but I still got, and we'll save that one too. It's just there's just gonna be too many to put in there. So what I need to do now is get rid of my cutting board and open up my can. So, open up our can of diced tomatoes. When I was at Winco early this morning, I actually was looking at the fresh herbs, and namely basil and oregano. They did not have any basil at all, and the oregano looked pretty beat up. And I would think that those two would go good with this. So we need to drain our tomatoes. I turned my zucchini over. I've got some black pepper here. I'll sprinkle some on there. So we cooked it on one side, and we're now going to pour in the drained can of tomatoes. Boy, it didn't drain very well, but there we go. There's our tomatoes in there. And we need to get something like this plastic spatula and spread that around. Purely experimenting here. So we got that turned up pretty good. What I'm going to do is grab a lid and cover this up. There we go. I've got it up to medium heat, and that should be a really good heat. We don't need any more olive oil, I don't believe. Alrighty, here we go. Looking too bad there. I think I'm going to leave the lid off of it now. Alright, I just want to let this sit here and cook a while. Simmer, kind of get all the water out of it. I don't know if this is going to be a successful vegetable dish or not. It would have been good with some fresh herbs in there, but I just couldn't find what I wanted. But we'll try this, and a lot of times after you've made something for the first time, you realize you could have done something different, added something, and that's exactly how I came up with the rice recipe, by following a rice recipe and then adding a few things to it, and it seems to have worked out. So we'll let this cook for a while, and that will be the vegetable for my dinner tonight, which is going to be chicken and rice.